reduce the risks and threats that are there for our organization. So that's the main objective of today's session. Coming to the uh, topic, like as you can see, I would like to start with this real-time map that is visible from the Kaspersky's website. Uh, as you can see here, this is the statistics of last week, and the pictures has been grasped yesterday. So as on yesterday, India seems to be the number 6 most targeted or attacked country. And these statistics, why I'm showing you is, as you can see here in the left side, there are some figures, right? 4,182 and all. Earlier, in case of in India, it is 1 lakh 1,000 OAS scans, ODS scans. So these are all basically on-demand scans that are happening. So which means that as of last week, how many scans, antivirus scans has been carried out by people who downloaded the files, who is running the system softwares and all. And surprisingly, these numbers are only in thousands. Just imagine across the country how many are using downloading the files. Among that, this is as per Kaspersky. Could be some 5%, 10% is using Kaspersky antivirus. Among so many crores of population and so many lakhs of people who is continuously downloading the files and all, this is a very small figure who is actually scanning the files which are being downloaded, which seems to be a surprising that though we know that every file that comes should be scanned, though we know that every pen drive that we insert should undergo detailed scan, these counts are giving a clear impact that a real time habit of scanning the files, ensuring the things are not in place. And that is what I would like to highlight upon, and further we will be discussing more on this. And because of those kind of mistakes which we are regularly doing, you can see there are so many breaches that were happened in the recent cases where which exposes emails and passwords of several government officials to hackers. There are cases of more than 750 million telecom users in India. Data has been sold out in the dark web and cyber experts. And as per CloudSec, the root causes majorly is observed to be that um, the personal data has been theft and all. Many cases may there are mobile numbers, addresses, Aadhaar cards, and all. And 68% of the root cause is phishing attacks. Though we all know what is phishing and all, still there are people who are falling prey to phishing and getting the information leaked out. However, considering the statistics that we are cutting every now and then, every 1 hour we see a lot of dark web data that is flowing, saying that this is the government of India website information, or some other data being breached with respect to some private organization again which is related to India, and so on. So we just thinking on why these hacks are happening. Though we are all having regular awareness, regular practices ensuring the cybersecurity hygiene practices, still breaches are happening. Still there are news talking about someone is falling prey to prey. Phishing means some organization loses its data and lot what not. So when we try to understand what is the possible root cause of such breaches, majorly categorizing all subpoints, if we remember, majorly these are the 4 root causes which are analyzed after various cases, considered that these are the 4 major root causes due to which these breaches or the news are appearing up. Most knownly because of insecure websites, because of insecure hosting environment that they are doing, insecure way of handling data, and lastly because of the insiders. So to just give a glimpse onto here, the target audience are a combination. There are developers, there are administrators, there are managers and all. So to keep it uh, easy for the make it general for all the employees, I'll be just briefing upon that. If it is insecure websites, okay, there is someone responsible in our organization to implement the mitigations, like they will try to put up secure coding practices, they will do a regular VAPT or do a threat modeling or perform bug bounty kind of activities to make sure that their applications are safe and go ahead. So these are some mitigation practices that one has to follow. And yes, within the organization, to make the website safe, someone is there, developers team or data center teams or the security audit teams who takes care of all these things. Similarly, if organization is going through insecure hosting, which again could be certain root causes for data leakages. FTP access is available on public without any permissions. Samba access is provided. unnecessary files are available on the internet and all these things because of various configurational problems. And yes, again, there is someone in the organization like your data center team, admin team, web admin team, network admin team, whoever the concerned member is there to take care, where they will try to ensure that hardening of infra and applications has to be performed. Again, VAPT should be there, proper patch management should be there, proactive and reactive implementation should be there, and all. So the teams has to take care about these things, and there are some which are being missed out. Of course, they will be handled by somebody at the organization. At the same time, insecure data handling. This is again one major reason for the data breaches. We have lots of data, but there are gaps in the organizations where the data is not appropriately classified. The developer himself doesn't know which data is important. The application owners, they themselves doesn't know what data I have to encrypt, what I have to hash it. If I encrypt, performance is increasing, system performance is reducing, so I will remove encryption. So these kind of decisions are being taken at a lower level without actually discussing with the application owners or the right stakeholders who is governing the applications, kind of things. And yes, to handle that, proper classification, proper encryptions, hashing algorithms, proper access control should be there, audit trails should be monitored, and all these things. So for all these root causes, there are different mitigation techniques, which again there is somebody who is accountable, who has to do. Who are not doing that is a separate aspect, but yes, there is a mitigation technique. Someone is there responsible to do these kind of mitigations and make sure that this doesn't happen. However, there is one more important root cause, that is insiders, and we are going to discuss about that. Who is an insider over here? Of course, we as an employee of our organization, we are the insiders. Now, as an insider, what is our role? How much are we contributing in these data breaches, directly or indirectly? And if we are the activities that we do on our systems, on our desktops or the mobiles, are in a way creating becoming a reason for such kind of data breaches, it's very high time for us to act upon it. And we are going to discuss on the same today. As we see, who are the insiders, which can be a root cause? One kind of insider is the system which is getting compromised. There are actors who usually have stolen a legitimate employee's credentials. Could be system credential or access levels. It can be card credentials, ID details, any sensitive information. If that is hacked, so that employee is again one kind of a compromised person, compromised victim, whose credentials are misused to do some mischievous activities. The other type of insiders due to which such data breaches happen is an insider who is malicious, who is a bad actor, such as it can be a current or a former employee, third parties or partners use their privileged access to steal the intellectual property, company data for fraud, sabotage, espionage, revenge, or any kind of the blackmail. So these are the people whom should be handled by the organization by some defined practices. They should be necessary monitoring things to identify such people and things doesn't go wrong, kind of policies should be there within the organization. And the third type of insider, due to which again one of the biggest reason for this data breach is being negligent. Employees are not being aware about how to handle, how securely I have to handle, and all these things. So among all these three types of insiders, let us exclude the malicious actor, which will be handled by the organizations or the concerned authorities. Now, coming to compromised or negligent, let us ourselves assess, are we falling into any of these categories? Is my system compromised, which is helping to for such kind of breaches? Am I acting or am I performing actions on my PC which is negligent in a way leading to these kind of breaches? So what is your answer? So if we try to start discussing, for us to be not part of these things, what do we do regularly? What are your regular practices? I'm sure almost around 23 cyber jagrata divas sessions happened where all the security practices were being discussed, and I'm sure your organization also must be giving you continuous awareness to you regularly. So can you just put out a few points in the chat box telling what are the security best practices that an employee should follow according to you? Just a few, quickly, please. What do you feel? What should be the cyber security practices or cyber hygiene practices which an employee has to follow? Is something coming up in the chat box? Changing password periodically. Very good. Any others? Antivirus update.
And one more is also told, madam, use secured websites is one thing is
Yeah,
told.
do not open unsecured links. Use secured websites. Remove spam oftenly. Do not expose your passwords to anybody. Very good. Password should not be shared. Strong passwords. Do not click links. Software updates. Regular software updates. Excellent. So, yes, happy to see that you are all aware of these cybersecurity practices, which one has to follow. Lock your systems when you're away. Thank you so much. Yes, as you have rightly said, those are the best practices. I'll just give out for you in your references in the slide also. Regularly, it's been told and it has been practiced to us. We are made keep on being telling, pushing tips and all to our systems, telling have your operating systems updated, have your browser updated, ensure you always scan your downloaded files, ensure you update your passwords frequently. You have to change your passwords. Do not click on any links, so that we should be aware about the phishing, wishing, smishing kind of a things, which will try to if we are aware, definitely we will avoid clicking on such kind of links. Excellent. So, being that we are all aware of these best practices that an employee has to follow, and most of you might also be following, of course, use authentic software, and there are many more. The list is very big. So, I'm just putting a quick pointers which we all know, and we are bound to follow them. Most of us follow also. In spite of all the things, still breaches are happening. I just want to show what is happening, why it is happening, kind of a thing. So if I just take into the first two, updating your OS and browsers. Now, very good that everyone have put out the points in this. Can you just go back to your systems and check how much updated is your OS? How much updated is your browser? Be it your office desktop or be it your personal desktops. Is it really updated? Is it in practice or is it only on your mind, on the paper, or on the policy? We need to look into that. As a simple random scan, this was just one yesterday's activity where one of the gov.in domain, we don't need to go and sit into the organizations. Today, we are all so much connected to the internet that without going into the organization or connecting our scanning tools or anything to the systems, as a public user, on an average, when I have just picked out around 600 plus end systems or the servers when a scan, actually the scan is not on end systems directly, the scan is on the public facing internet websites. When it is scanned, it is identified that that organization is having around 338 outdated web browsers in their desktops. I'm not talking about the servers which are facing to the internet. I'm talking about the employee desktops which are there within the organization. Out of 600 plus systems, 338 systems are having outdated browsers, and 63 operating systems are outdated. There are Windows 8.1 systems, there are Windows 7 professional systems, there are Windows Vista systems also in some of the end user PCs within an organization which are outdated. And all of you are already aware what happens if an outdated thing is done. So many cases have been explained earlier. If outdated systems are there, it's very easy for any malicious thing to come in and sit on the systems. Now the question comes, how do an external know what OS is there in your desktop? Because it is in your organization LAN. What is visible to public is only your public hosting sites, and your firewalls tries to stop your desktop visibility to outside. But still, how somebody can know what OS is used in a government organization or in any organizations at one of the end user system? It can be certain mobile operating systems also we identify. How my system OS is visible to somewhere outside where my system is not exposed to internet directly. It does not have a public IP or anything. It's behind the firewall with a local IP. It's very simple. If you see, there is some information that is flowing from our desktop. Can anyone tell what is this information? Is this any piece of information that is seen in your desktop anytime? Something like this or something like this? Have you anytime seen this? Request header. Okay. SOC team DIT Tripura request header. Any more hints? It's correct. Request header. Anything more specific? Can someone answer out? Have you anytime seen this kind of content, browser kind of things and all? This is the user agent. This is the what browser you are using. Whenever we access anything on the internet using our Firefox browser, Microsoft Edge, or any browser you use, this piece of code goes, yes, it is the version of the browser. It also includes your operating system details and other things. This piece of information goes from your browser to the system, to the website, whichever you're accessing. You're accessing Facebook. Facebook has the record of which browser you're using, which OS you're using. It's part of the request header. So whenever we access a particular domain name, there's a set of content. What is your IP? What is your user agent? What from which location you are accessing? All of this is going. So location, IP, and all are related to your organization's ISP IP. So that's not giving about your personal thing. But the user agent is something that is about your local browser that is there in your PC. And unfortunately, this user agent also have information about your version of the browser, your operating system, and with the subversions also. And imagine all of us from our organization, government provided desktops, we are accessing internet websites. Could be the railway ticketing systems, could be social networking, or any gov sites, or any R&D sites, newspaper reading websites. For any activity we do, this information is going there everywhere. And there are tools which can also read all their the agents are there across all the organizations, which will talk about share this user agent information to the systems, to the tools basically. So knowing your user, what browser you are using is not a big deal. If I just have this user agent, I just need to go into the internet and put this user agent detail. The search engine helps me giving this information. As you see the yellow highlighted, this user agent string belongs to Edge browser running on Windows 8.1. So these are all pre-hard coded content. So this is automatically giving me that which desktop is used. So I don't need to come into your organization and do your desktop scan. Remotely, a person can know which version of desktop you are using, which version of OS you are using, what is the version of your browser. Further digging into the same website, we can see this information like this neatly breakdown. Who is the developer of that particular browser? What is the version? What Windows platform is used in that? And whether it is a Windows desktop. There are cases where Windows workstation is there also. There is a mouse pointer attached to this. So it's not a big deal to know what OS we are using within our organization for some external party. So we should not be in a mode that my home PC is having, I have to keep it secured, but in my organization, firewall is there to protect me. I did not update my operating system. I need not update my browser. If we are thinking like that, it's high time for us to think different. We should not consider that these are inside. We are no more inside. The moment we are accessing something on the browser, we are exposed to public, we are exposed to internet, our information is there. And yes, what attacker will do? The moment they know that you are using a Microsoft Edge, just go to internet, see there are hundreds of exploits, buffer overflow exploits, remote code in execution vulnerabilities in all these browsers. A simple malware file, it's actually malware need not be only a .exe or any vulnerable content. A simple program, PHP code or Python code, I can just write in and send to you over a email or any other format. The moment you put that code in your system, it's easy for someone to get the access of your desktop remotely. That's how the malwares can come into the system easily. So the point to be noted, these points, update your OS, update your browser and all, should not be just on the paper or on the mind, but it must be followed within the organization. That's very important. And this is one of the major reasons for malwares being easily coming into the government organization desktops, and they are not even being noticed because the malwares are very nowadays, they're writing in such a way. One of the small case when it has been analyzed, malware has entered into the organization, they have a commercial antivirus solution over there. None of those commercial antivirus were identifying it. Why? Because the attacker have intelligently, he entered into the system from a different way, but he put a backdoor into a folder of antivirus itself. And what antivirus was doing, it was scanning the entire OS but not its own folder. So not scanning its own folder had given an open hand to the attacker, that he put antivirus within that folder so that he can hide. Something like we don't see behind us, but we see around the world. Similarly, antivirus is scanning all the networks, all the systems, but that server itself had that malware planted into the same folder, C drive antivirus folder, where it is not visible. So it's high time for us to look into all of these aspects, make sure we update our OS browsers and all, and implement it, because we are not anyway hidden from the internet. The moment we are accessing internet, it is there. Okay, now moving towards the next one. Everyone have very well mentioned that we need to scan all the downloaded files. We should have antivirus, we should scan and all these things. So if definitely we are scanning those antiviruses, we should not be seeing breaches like this. This is a statistical information about yesterday, March 4th and April 2nd. You can see the dates over here. I'm sorry with the screenshot, but I'll just zoom for you. As you can see here, this is the data breach information of certain government websites. March 4th dated 24, April 2nd, 2024, new data has been leaked. And what is this data about? It's all about the um, sorry okay, it's all about this kind of data. Indian individual affiliated with various government sectors, 106,000 leads are available on the dark web as on yesterday, which contains information like name, mobile, email address, city, state, industry, date of birth kind of things. These are the PII, personally identifiable information of the employee, and these are available as on yesterday's date. How they are able to get that as on yesterday? If we are all following the downloads, we are ensuring that antivirus is there, we are ensuring updated OS is there, because in spite of all these things being there, there is some kind of malware, there is some kind of backdoor which is already implanted into the organization. So we need to be careful enough in rechecking all of these systems and ensure a proper VAPT and see whether there is any malware. This is one example. Basically, this dark web, whatever information comes in, majorly they use this kind of stealer malwares, whose main objective is they don't create any harm to our systems. They don't make your system shut down, they don't hack, they don't consume any of your resources or anything. Their objective is, from your browser cookies and all these things, they'll just take all names, emails and all these things, and they just send it to the attacker. Attacker creates a huge amount of all this data in files, and then they sell it on the dark web. And this is how generally the stealer malwares information which is sent to remote attackers look like, which includes information, certain times even passwords are captured by such kind of malwares. If we are really making sure our organization is having an antivirus updated, antivirus is been placed in every desktop, it is up to date, it is scanning for malwares, then why today also there are breaches? So somewhere in some server or in some desktop or in some mobile, there is a malware which is giving out this information to the outsiders. So we need to be very cautious, go back and make sure the entire systems undergo rigorous check to identify any kind of hidden things which we are not aware of. Certain times, no, we should not only look for the last frequent recent contents, even old contents. Certain cases were there since 2014 also, some malwares were there, it went unnoticed. So the backdoors are there in so many systems, which has to be verified and checked by the respective things. Otherwise these breaches will be continuously available. So it's high time for us to ensure that we scan all downloaded files. Again, it should not only be on paper or mind. There are many cases. We all know you should scan it, but suddenly there is some file should be copied somewhere. There's someone brought a pen drive, they keep it. There's a pop-up coming from antivirus. Scan this. It is scanning actually, no pop-up. It is not asking for me. It is automatically scanning. But as a practice, many of the times it's been noticed, people just say skip for now or close it because they want to copy the file immediately. They can't wait for the antivirus to complete the scan before they copy the file into the system because the meeting is coming up. Why can't we be well prepared a little bit? Why can't we copy the file well before the meetings and have sufficient time to scan and copy? But unfortunately, though we know we have to, because of various reasons, it's not happening. It is only being there in mind and paper. So, but it has to be a must follow activity now onwards that we scan all the files because any file can have a hidden content into it. Any drive can have a hidden partition also which is doing its own job. It may not copy malicious content, but it may be reading something from your browser's caches and cookies kind of things. So it should be a must follow practice and not again on a paper or in your minds. Moving towards the next activity, everyone know we have to change our passwords. Excellent point, everybody. And today, because of the continuous awareness that we are seeing, we all also know how to, since I'm changing passwords, how do I remember? So we there's a model of passphrase. Passphrase is easy to remember multiple passwords. So people are started you considering that yes, I can use passphrase and change my passwords regularly, have strong passwords and all these things. But again, the same question: how many of you have really changed your password? How many of you have a Gmail account created 10 years, 15 years back? The same password is continued. If you are changed, it's very good, great for the organization as well as for your personal. But if it is not changed, it has to be changed. Why? Because there are various social media leaks. Like if you see, this is around 2021, 22, these were so many social media websites whose database is leaked. And in 2024 January, as you see the date Jan 3rd, 2024, as on that day, 26 billion records were exposed related to Twitter, LinkedIn, and the same database, Dropbox also has it. And same thing, Canva, which is again mostly used by many organizations. All those credentials are there in these 26 billion records. Now you can ask me, okay, these credentials are leaked. Why are you talking about my Gmail password or my organization password? The point is, most of us have a practice of using our regular Gmail accounts in all the social medias, where as a regular activity, we enter the Gmail email and the same password might have been set up in LinkedIn, Twitter kind of things. So if Twitter is hacked, so in Twitter your Gmail credential only you have used means obviously your Gmail credentials are hacked. And there are cases where organization accounts are also used in the Twitter, LinkedIn kind of things. And if if you have a practice of using a different password, though your email is same, that's good. That is a good practice. But very rare cases, the if I'm using a gov.in email, cdac.in email in my Twitter or LinkedIn, if I by mistake put the same password of my official email into the Twitter also, then it is connected that if Twitter is hacked, my official account is also hacked. So any kind of if you have used any of your official accounts for the social media sites and all these things, it's recommended not to do that. And if you have already done, you cannot delete it. Have a different password set to it. Don't have your same password, and you keep on changing those passwords is most important because this data is leaked means leaked. It is already there. Some content is there from for free. Something is there for payment in dark web. But yes, a leaked content is already exposed. If we do not change those credentials, From those credentials, it is easy for someone to come into your, they are using your email means what? They are part of your organization now. So, being your organization, you to your colleague, they can send a mail telling to that. See, the moment phishing mail, when we are trying to spread awareness, phishing mail is always avoid mails from unknown people, avoid for downloading files from unknown users and all. If a mail is coming from my own colleague telling that this is the software I have developed, you please load this kind of a things, it's very common, obvious that we will log in and download because it's my colleague only. So phishing can happen as becoming an insider of your organization. So it is high time for us to change our passwords. To just give you a glimpse, there are certain credentials leaked out in the dark web where certain websites usernames passwords are available like this. More than 500 credentials are available similarly for the last 6 months, and if your credential is lost for the last 10 years, you have not changed for the last 10 years, it's already there for free. These are some things which someone has to pay and get the content, but there are free contents which are available on the websites if it is very old credential. So again, the saying is repeated. This update your password, change your password frequently, have different passwords for different accounts should not be on the paper or mind. It has to be a practice and a must follow approach to be done because things have changed a lot. Nowadays, hacks are very easily happening and access to the content over the dark web and all also has become easier now. It's not like earlier. People are doing a lot of activities. And one last most known thing is do not click on links. We need to be aware about phishing, wishing, smishing kind of a things. And gone are the days where we still have to rely upon phishing websites will look like this. You might have already seen some sessions earlier where phishing websites have now changed completely. It's not only IP based, they look like original domain. Original domain appended with at the rate or .zip kind of things can also lead you to phishing sites. So more and more self awareness on identifying which is phishing websites is mandatory. However, additionally, nowadays, AI has brought out different aspects of phishing. Enabled by AI, phishing has become now quite simple. Now, someone need not sit and craft a phishing website or need not sit and make phishing calls to somebody. This is a case happened in March 31st, 2024, which is very recent. As you can see here, Nitin attempts to schedule an appointment with a doctor. He tried to search online what are the good apps which will give me online good doctor consultancies. He searched, he tried to install a few apps also, but he failed. He did not get any good resource. He left it. After some time, he himself received a call telling that this is we understand that you are looking for a doctor consultation, and this is one very good app which is there for consulting a doctor. You install this app, immediately you will be getting an appointment, you can finish your consultation online. He landed up in installing this app which is a phishing app, and it hacked out all his credentials from his mobile, all his accounts. His mobile itself got a remote control. So now it's not a case that I click a link then only I'm falling into phishing prey. I search something on my mobile, still somebody is knowing what I'm searching, what I need, and they are reaching me. That is that simple now. Certain cases, what I mean, in a real time also we noticed is you just observe, you go to some shopping mall or something, or you talk with your friends that you're going to spend this weekend in so and so location, going for a vacation or something. There is obvious ways that you will get some advertisements related to those vacations or what you're planning to go to the malls. That mall related offers you may receive on your mobiles, try to relate them. It means that your mobile is continuously in a listening mode only. You have your location turned on, you have your phone with multiple apps have mic permissions also. There are apps which might be sitting and listening to you. That's all AI enabled. So I'm not saying that these apps are doing a negative thing. It may be Google itself is listening you and trying to help you that since you want to plan a vacation this week and you're talking to your spouse or kids, Google is trying to give you immediately these are the good vacation packages available in your nearby areas. So it is trying to make it AI enabled, but the same features can also be misused for something else. So uh, things are different now, so we need to be cautious in understanding any offers, anything phone calls that we are receiving and so on. This is one more deep fake fraud you might have already known. This is February 6th event, which is not in India, fortunately. It's a Hong Kong related multinational company. What happened in this case was that one of the CEO and other high designated employees of this multinational company received an email telling today immediately we need to have a video call and we need to buy some shares immediately from some things because this share is going to increase very drastically, so we will get profits. So that mail have called all has looped all the top employees of the organization. Everyone have access that link, joined the Zoom call, and the top CEO finance department head was there in that group call. He was telling that these are the shares going to be increased. I got from some other sources information, let's buy these shares immediately. All the top heads who are there in the Zoom call have said yes, we will buy, and they have immediately approved the transaction, and that finance head have initiated the transaction and completed the transaction of around $25.6 million dollars, and the Zoom call ended. Later on, by that end of the day, what has been realized is apart none of those employees who is there in the Zoom call are genuine except the finance guy. All other top heads were being deep faked. Video has been put up in such a way that whatever the finance officer is asking, all these top employees who are actually not the original AI enabled people, they have approved the transaction and the finance head have done the transaction. After the end, when he went to the office and he started interacting, everyone said we did not attend any Zoom call in the morning. So what we are seeing over the Zoom calls also, there are cases where deepfake has been used to create AI enabled people which look like real, but they are not actually real. So we should be cautious. Phishing is now, these are all examples of phishing only. Phishing is what? Which is original, which is duplicate, we doesn't know. To identify that, we are trying to understand what URL is there and all. But now we have to even be cautious about the video call that we are seeing, whether the other person sitting over there is correct or not. All these things we should maintain. This is another case of a similar thing of wishing. Over a phone call, a mother has been fooled by her own kid's voice. Kid started calling mother and crying, telling madam, mother, mama, I'm been kidnapped. Please help me. Mother was in a panic state by the time she called her for daughter's original number. Number is switched off. She was trying to reach her husband. Her husband is in office. She could not do anything. She was in a worry that her daughter will be in trouble. She immediately transferred 50,000 to that kidnapper. After some time, when the things she connected with husband and daughter was sleeping in the hostel, husband was in a meeting. By the time they realized already money is gone. How this happened? The daughter's voice has been cloned using AI, and they created a voice in such a way that the original voice, if the other person feels that it is original. So, over the phone call, what we see also, we have to be cautious. They may not be genuine. It might be a wishing call with our own known people voices. We might see somebody with our own known people, but they may not be the real ones. So, all these cases are there. We should be very cautious enough. As part of ICIA, because this happened in the recent case, where ICIA have also released an advisory on how we should be careful among such things. Scammers do these kind of recordings and all these things. So we have to be vigilant on understanding how we have to protect ourselves in identifying such kind of things. Similarly, this advisory is available in multilingual Hindi also, which you can understand to see how do we protect it. So again, the tip follows: think twice before answering calls, before speaking, and before clicking the any of the links. Not only click, we also need to be very careful in answering the calls. Over the phone call also, when we are talking, no, those voices are also taken as samples for AI. So we need to be much more vigilant now to make sure that we don't fall into prey of such kind of things. So these are some best practices which we all know, but yes, it's high time for us to make it a mandatory thing that we do follow. It's not only on paper or for policies. It's not for policy, is not for the organization only. Policy is for our own purpose also. If your organization policy is telling something you have to do this, it's better we stringently ensure that it is done, because Non-cooperating to that or non-execution of those defined policies can lead to these kind of different data breaches, attacks and all, where in all these cases, if you can relate, all these are insider activities only. Either it is a using a compromised things, or we are not aware about what is happening and we are falling prey in downloading unnecessary files. Unknowingly we are continuing with unupdated browsers, unupdated operating systems and so on. So we have to follow all these things to make sure our organizational data and our personal data is also safe and secure. Lastly, I just wanted to give a glimpse onto a new kind of a thing that is happening, that is called cryptojacking. Cryptojacking is more about crypto mining activity, bitcoins, cryptocurrencies, all these terminologies you might have heard about it. So crypto mining is something that people do to earn money. Cryptojacking is the same earning of cryptocurrency they do by hacking a system. Why? As told here, cryptojacking has replaced ransomware. In future, we are not going to see ransomware may slowly get reduced. As on today, still ransomware is one of the top threat. However, down the line, as per the experts, after 2025 onwards, ransomware may go down and cryptojacking may take up the first top cyber threat in the list. Cryptojacking displaces ransomware as most popular cyber threat. This is the news of 2018, which I am showing you over here. But we are talking about what is cryptojacking today. So we are way behind to understand what is happening. And by this time, already there are so many cases where cryptojacking happened. There were losses to the organizations. But the similar awareness on how do I make sure my system doesn't help to become a crypto mining is not much there. That's the reason I'm just trying to highlight on this. So to give you a glimpse, crypto mining, I don't go into technical things. This process involves like one has to uh, create some blocks of blockchain and use it to solve a puzzle. If I solve a puzzle, I'll get some currency. Solving that puzzle need high computing systems. Now every user who is using computers, they don't have high computer systems and they can't cope on hack servers to utilize high computing systems. So this crypto jacking concept has come in where there are small malwares which are just planted on the end user desktops, and those desktops are used for solving these puzzles and become mine the blocks in the blockchain networks. So it's to simply understand your system resources, your CPU, your RAM, your system cores and all are used for computing, solving a puzzle without your knowledge. That puzzle is related to the crypto network, Bitcoin networks. So if your resources are used for, what will you do if your Wi-Fi is shared by your neighbor or some unknown persons? Immediately you will try to tell, how can you use my Wi-Fi? Similarly, if somebody is using my computer resources to earn money for himself, his cryptocurrencies and all, then how do we allow them? We should not allow, right? So the same is happening in this case. Crypto mining is a process of solving a puzzle to get money, and to do that they need a lot of high performing systems. So what they are doing, this is the flow of how cryptojacking happens. A hacker infects a website, open source code or malicious link with crypto mining software is sent to end users over the email or something. If that malware is coming onto your server where website is there, or it is coming into your desktop where you have access through link, that malware is implanted into your system. Now this victim system connects to the crypto mining software remotely. The software is used for victims resources are used for mining purpose, and cryptocurrency mining activity is done on your system without your knowledge. Finally, successfully mined cryptocurrency is sent to the hacker server, so he will get the money, hacker will get the money. How? He is using your resources and he is getting the money. That's how the cryptojacking happens. So, if you avoid all the technical things, very simple symptoms. If you are identifying a slow response times and general lag while you are using your computer, it could be chances that your system is being used for crypto mining. If you notice overheating or hot to the touch your computer systems, again it could be chances that your desktop or and laptops are you might be used for crypto mining purpose. If your power consumption bills, organization electricity bill have drastically increased, that is also one of the one it can be one of the symptoms to know that your organization might be having many desktops or servers which are used for crypto mining purpose, because they are using a lot of power. The system performance increases, heat is increasing means what? It will consume more power than onwards. Automatically electricity bill is increasing. These are some symptoms that you can understand. Maybe their systems are used for crypto mining. Immediately that system has to be segregated. No internet should be given, and that should be given to the concerned department in your organization to verify whether there is any malicious thing in the system which is been doing the crypto mining kind of activities. So this is something that one has to take care about. And lastly, any of these things you notice, it is your responsibility to report it back to your organization. Do not hesitate that downloaded a malware, I have done a mistake, tomorrow I may be blamed for that. So hiding that information will actually increase the loss to the damage to the organization. So whatever happened we cannot change, but if you report to the concerned member in the organization, they will take the necessary measures or appropriate actions so that that doesn't spread. Right, it's like a fever. If a fever is coming to us, we immediately try to isolate ourselves and take necessary medicine so that it doesn't contaminate my family or the colleagues. Similarly, if an incident happened, we have to report it immediately for necessary action. An incident is an event that could result in loss or damage to your organization's physical or intellectual assets. So it can cause disruptions to your organizational data. So we have to take that. So to just know, you should also know what is an incident. You know, I have to report, but what should I report? So these are some examples, kinds of incidents: unauthorized access to public servers, unauthorized usage of data, malware attacks, loss or theft documents, link of non-availability, password exposures. All these are some incidents. When you notice these things, immediately report it to the concerned member so that they take a necessary action. If you don't know what is an incident, then still, if you see any of these kind of symptoms, then also you have to report it to the person, concerned member in your systems, in your organization. Machine is slow, it's automatically shutting down, heating it up, seems like there is a virus, you're not able to access any external service, your network is not working, malicious emails are coming. The last but one point, you can see cables are unplugged without our knowledge. Even that you have to be noticing. Don't just think that okay, some cleaning person have come and he unplugged it and left it back. If you are seeing that repeatedly, that also should be reported and verify from the CCTV cameras who is doing, why it is being done. Any physical change in the network or any change that you see in your system should be noticed, monitored continuously. You should be vigilant to know what is happening around you, inside the system, in your in your mobile, with your data. All these things we have to know regularly. So these are some symptoms. Lastly, I just wanted to conclude by making sure we follow all these things. Let's be not one of these kind of insiders, either compromised or negligent. We should not be malicious. However, tackling that, I'm not talking in this session. That is why let us not be compromised or negligent people. We should be vigilant enough to make sure that we do the right things and be responsible in using the resources that we have in the organization. Thank you. So that's about the